It's baby season, lots of little critters around, and we want to help make sure that these critters are well taken care of. And if you do run into them and encounter them, you're doing it in a safe and humane way. So I'd like to introduce Kristin Fletcher. She's the Executive Director of the Wildlife Rehabilitators Association of Rhode Island. I wanted to make sure I got all those words in there in the right order. Kristin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for driving in this nasty weather.
Oh, not a problem. I'm used to driving everywhere to find injured animals.
And take care of them.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the association, and really it is just what you do, because many people might think they know what you do, but might not have heard of you before.
Sure. Well, I'm the Executive Director of the Wildlife Rehabilitators Association of Rhode Island, and we run the wildlife clinic in the state. We are a nonprofit organization primarily made up of volunteers. I'm a volunteer. The two veterinarians that help us with the care, Dr. Chan and Dr. Bird, are both also volunteers. And what we do is, well, just in a nutshell, last year we handled over 5,000 injured and orphaned birds and animals. And we're the only organization in the state that handles all species of wildlife.
Wow. And 5,000, that's such a staggering number.
It is.
To think of. I mean, that's just a huge amount. And you mentioned your volunteers. Where does the funding come from to do this?
The funding is just another thing that we have to take on a daily basis. So primarily we run on private donations. So people will bring us a bunny or a mouse or a deer fawn, and will leave us with a donation, to assist with the care. I write grants, and we also have several fundraising events over the course of the year that help us with I think we're about $170,000, $180,000 budget a year to care for all of those animals.
And when we're talking about wildlife, what are some of the animals that you tend to work with? You mentioned bunnies and mice. What are some of the animals that you see? Do you have to turn any away?
No, and I'm really proud about that. We will assist any injured or orphaned wild animal or bird that people come across. They either deliver it to us. Sometimes people can't do that, and we find someone that can go out to get them. And so any wild species in the state. So that starts at a mouse. People will find a baby mouse in their driveway, and it starts there and goes right up to the deer fawns, hummingbirds, all the way up to eagles.
Wow. So if someone's found an eagle and thought, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are the chances to have that encounter?
Exactly.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
And fortunate enough that someone was around to be able to take care of that, because
Absolutely.
Well, and I'm thinking in my head right now, small organization funded just on your own. It must be difficult, because right now we are getting around to that baby season, and there's a lot of little critters out there that people might run into, hopefully not run over, but run into.
Right.
How are you able to get things done?
Well, the way the system currently runs is, I'm always appreciative of having the opportunity to come in and speak to people and get the word out that we exist, because that's the first stumbling block. Someone finds it and may not know that we exist. So hopefully their veterinarians will give them this information. Rhode Island DEM can give out this information. Audubon will give out, Norman Bird. And so once they get our numbers, then the wildlife hotline is out there that they could call the clinic and get direction that way. Or if they're closed, it lists all of our rehabilitators. And I'm the first name on there, so generally any issues, I can handle it first. And then I direct these people, depending on what they have, to the closest rehabilitator. Because the way the system runs is we have the wildlife clinic, but then we have volunteer trained and licensed people who are licensed in their homes.
Oh, wow.
To handle animals. So I have bunny people and I have squirrel people, and so we get the animal or bird to the most appropriate person.
Okay, perfect. So you get there. So what are you seeing this time of year? As we move, hopefully it gets a little bit nicer, but what are you seeing? What are the phone calls that you're getting now?
I think the primary thing that's happening now is we've had a mild winter. It doesn't feel like it today, but we've had a mild winter.
But really, February was.
Exactly.
was
and
nice.
so we received our first baby squirrels in February.
Okay.
And which is really, really early. So, obviously the squirrels aren't carrying their calendars around. And the weather seems right, so, okay, this must be time.
Yeah.
So we ended up with baby squirrels early on, and then the baby bunnies followed shortly thereafter. So primarily what's happening now is the bunnies have their nests, and people are raking, cleaning out their gardens, and they're uncovering these rabbits' nests that are in their yards. Eastern cottontails are pretty happy to nest near us, so that's where they are. Sometimes a dog will dig them up, sometimes a cat will find a baby and bring it in, and so primarily right now it's the bunnies that we're seeing. A handful of squirrels are coming through as well, but primarily the bunnies. The birds have started nesting, which makes me nervous.
Is that too early?
Yeah, no one's listening to me. I try to stop them from nesting, but
Stop it, birdies!
yeah, it's too early, and so that's coming soon.
Okay, and so what should we do if you encounter a nest, or if you encounter, whether it's birds in the tree, or if you encounter squirrel's nest? What should we do?
Okay, well, seeing we're dealing with a lot of bunnies right now, the main thing people have to remember is that mom rabbits only feed their babies at night, and that's because they're big and they don't want to draw predators to the nest during the light of day.
That makes sense.
So they set their nest up, and you'll find in your yard, sometimes you'll see tufts of rabbit fur on the ground, and the nest is nearby, and the babies are in there, and they're covered with grass and whatnot, and you can just leave them alone. Just let them be. If somebody, if your dog finds the nest and doesn't do any damage to the area, you can just recover it. You don't want to really handle the babies at all because you're always worried about human scent on mammals, not birds, but on animals. So that's a big thing.
Okay. Want to say that again?
Sure. Okay, so you don't want to handle any of the babies just because they're really cute. You want to bring them in and let the grandchildren pet them, or you want to leave them alone. You can put gloves on and make sure the nest is covered. And then one of the tricks to determining whether mom comes back is to get maybe 10 or 12 long pieces of string, twine, yarn, dental floss, straight lines in a big starburst pattern, and then check the next morning to see if that has been disturbed. Okay. If you only do an X, mom may just uncover one spot that you didn't cover, feed the babies, and then leave again, and then then we end up with baby bunnies that are losing their moms. And they don't survive as well with humans as they do with rabbits. So to maximize their survival, if we can keep them with mom, we do.
Okay. And you said when it comes to birds, there's that myth of touching.
Correct. Birds do not have a sense of smell, although I believe turkey vultures do because that's how they find their dead stuff.
Oh, how interesting.
Their buffet. And so, no, birds are completely different. And what you'll start seeing soon are the robin's nests, and that's a big one. So you've got, rainy spring, like today. If you had a robin's nest, and it's really a little early for that, they're made of mud and sticks and whatnot. And so when the rain comes in, not only does it start to disintegrate, but it's so heavy that it will fall when the babies come down. One of the things you can do is pick the babies up, bring them in and get them warmed up. So that's just a shoebox, t-shirt, hot water bottle, Poland Spring water bottle, fill it with really hot sink water, put a sock over it, put the babies up against it, you'll see them getting livelier. Get the nest wedged right back into the tree or as close to the spot. Once those guys are warmed up, put them back in the nest and back way off and watch for mom to come again. And generally that works just fine, and mom will keep going. If somebody seems injured, if a cat is involved, if somebody gets stepped on, anyone who's injured, you would never do that. You want to call one of us. Okay.
What if you just see one bird on the ground? A lot of times that's what you see. You be walking down the street and you just see one bird. You don't see the nest up there.
Right. If it's not a nest that a baby can be replaced, re-nested into, then obviously it needs to come into rehab. Now, what's going to be happening shortly after the nesting season starts is birds will fledge. So they're feathered. Sometimes they're not completely feathered. Sometimes they almost look like an adult, but their tail is really short, and they leave the nest and they can't fly yet. Oh, okay. And they're on the ground, and this is when they learn how to find food. So mom and dad will actually teach them how to forage when they're on the ground. And people will find them and think that they're in trouble because they can't fly. And basically what I tell people is keep cats and kids away,
Okay.
pets and kids away, and let mom do her thing. And generally, they just move on again.
Okay.
So that's a safe way to do it.
So kind of don't intervene unless you know that the animal's hurt, injured, or the whole
Correct.
messed up.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. And if the bird is in the road, you can literally pick the bird up and move it 15 feet off of the road, maybe put it near a shrub, because mom knows where he is, and they're not recognizing cars as danger, and get him off of the road again, and you'd be fine.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's so nice to have someone around to tell us this stuff, because how many times have we seen this happen and then not know what to do?
Sure.
And you want to help, but you're like, am I messing things up more, less? Let's talk a little bit about squirrels. I saw a very interesting post that you guys had posted about what to do if you find a squirrel nest in trees or in bushes, and we need to check our cars and things like that. What if we want to, if we're getting things cleaned up around the house and we need to get rid of this nest, we just don't want it there anymore? What should we do?
Well, keep in mind that there's a limited amount of time. If you have a squirrel nest, it's not that they're going to live there for the rest of their lives. And so generally, if you just let them do their thing, the babies will get bigger and they'll just leave. One of the issues we'll be seeing soon is that people are doing house chores and housework.
Spring cleaning.
That, as well as just replacing gutters and roof lines, and they'll find various nests. And sometimes when there's a hole there and mom squirrel goes in, it's the perfect place to raise your babies. It's warm and there are no predators. So the ticket with that is in order, and you'll see that with raccoons a lot as well.
Okay.
So the ticket with that is there's a few ways of making them to peacefully evacuate them. That doesn't cost anything really. One way is to put a radio up in the attic and to blast some sort of music that would be offensive to a raccoon or a squirrel. Another thing to do is just a plastic bowl and put a dish towel in there or some rags and pour ammonia in there. So you don't want it floating, you don't want that much, but saturate the rags and put a few of those around, because you know what it's like when you're around ammonia. It kind of stings, burns your eyes.
Yeah.
Again, mom will take her babies and move out.
Okay.
She'll go somewhere else. So those are two really easy tricks that aren't going to cost you a great deal of money to have, someone come down to take them away and then euthanize them, because that's there's a chance that that's what's going to happen.
Okay. And to be honest, do we want that to happen?
Well, that's it. And it's not legal to relocate either. So that's a big thing to know. So it's not like you think, well, I'm going to call these people, they'll come down and do that. I don't mind paying. They'll relocate them. That's against the law.
Okay.
So if they take them out of your attic or your roof line, they can't take them away unless they're euthanizing. They can try to seal it off at that point so they don't come back in again, but leave them in your yard. They can move off on their own, but they don't want humans intervening there.
Okay, so we all both need to scoot over. We're wandering. We're wandering off into the great unknown. So if you do call a pest control company, they can't relocate them into the forest, into some better place.
No, and nor can we. Nor can we. That's the law. That
the law
they have
is no
to be.
relocating.
You can't relocate. No.
So if you are, if an animal's injured, you can take them, rehabilitate them, and then release them. You just can't come get them from someone's house and relocate them somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And the law on that end of it is if I get a hit by car squirrel adult, and we can fix him or her, we bring them back to a mile of where we found them, because they have a territory, they have a nest, they may have mates, they know where the food supply is, so they do go back. Babies that we raise, we try to find the best possible place to put them where there isn't a lot of car, traffic and outdoor pets.
Okay. I'm curious about turtles. Do you deal with turtles?
We do.
Okay, because
we
turtles.
got a lot of turtles in
I was
yesterday.
going to say yesterday you did. I feel like where I live, I saw so many turtles at one point, and I saw snapping turtles at one point. They were doing a lot of construction works, like digging up piping, and I feel like that was part of it.
Could be.
And then it was mating season, and there were turtles all over the place. And cars, it's hard to see turtles. So what should we do if we see a turtle wandering across the road? Do we try to pick it up ourselves and move it? Do we call you? Do we call police? Like, what do we do when we see a turtle?
Right. I mean, I think if you're the person that's there, if you can render immediate assistance to whoever it is that's in the road, including a baby squirrel or anything that's in the road and is not injured, In the case of turtles, they are really hardwired animals. So you don't want to take them and think, oh, I know of a pond that's in 2 towns over, because that doesn't work for them. They have this, they're just really remarkable that they know what they're going to do and where they need to go.
Okay.
Snapping turtles are one that you'll see crossing the road because where they nest is now riddled with roads. So, I mean, I would never suggest someone just walk over and pick it up because they can be dangerous animals. But I have seen people before take the end of their, the long brush for snow, well, we all have those, and actually get it to the turtle's face where it bites on and you can kind of drag him in the direction it was going.
Oh.
So you don't, or a big branch that's on the side of the road, but
Okay.
you don't ever want to handle a snapping turtle. And you can do the same thing with the smaller guys that you see crossing the road. Obviously, the other guys aren't going to necessarily bite you the way that a snapper would, but you want to move them to the side of the road where they're heading, the direction they're heading, because they have something in mind. We're not sure what it is, but they're heading in that direction. So
it seems like I saw so many turtles at one point last year where they were going. It seemed like this one turtle was coming into downtown. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you're going for, but I hope you find it, buddy. But we were able to get him somewhere.
Right.
And so that's interesting. If you want to get them across out of the road to safety, if there's water or trees or something nearby, is that the best spot, or you just think get them out of the road?
Well, I mean,
and let them do their thing.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing.
I think I would make sure that they're out of the road and maybe a few feet back, heading in the right direction. And just wait a moment to make sure that they don't do a loop and head back into the road.
That's not what I wanted.
Yeah. So that would be what I would suggest with the turtles.
Okay.
And if you come across a turtle that's been hit, it takes a lot to kill a turtle. We can fix cracked shells.
Cool.
Sometimes the damage is so extensive that there's internal damage and we can't do that. But we want to get them and euthanize, and there's no need for anybody to suffer to that degree.
Ugh.
So we do that as well. When they can't be fixed in their suffering, we will euthanize whatever the species is.
Yeah, and yeah, there's no reason for everyone
There's
to suffer.
no, not at all.
And because you are fundraising, you do grants, you do that kind of thing. You do have some fundraisers coming up.
We do. We have a couple. One I'm just actually working on Saturday, April 22nd, I believe it is Earth Day. That's our spring baby shower, and that's at the Cold Spring Community Center in Wickford.
Perfect.
And it's really kid-oriented. I mean, obviously we have lots
I have
of adults.
April 20th.
Is it 20th?
Yeah, April 20th, the baby shower.
Okay.
That's the day that you...
Is that Earth? Is it Earth? I want to say it's 22, though. I might have been wrong on that one.
Okay. I'll look it up.
My days tend to... But, people can go onto our website as well.
Okay, yeah, we'll say that.
Right, and it will be on there. But anyway, it's the spring baby shower, and we generally have Born to Be Wild Nature Center come in. That's John and Vivian, and they deal with a lot of the hawks and owls in the state. So they'll come down and they'll do a presentation. And then we have a baby nursery. So some of the baby squirrels, not the very stressed out, like we wouldn't have bunnies there because they wouldn't like that. But baby squirrels, and you'll see the rehabbers feeding them. And depending on what species are in at that point, we'll have them there. And then there's games and crafts, and there'll be face painting. Brickley's donates ice cream, and so we have an ice cream social there. So it's a lot of fun. It's one of our most popular events, and people... And it's so cute. Kids will bring us baby shower gifts.
Oh, cool.
And there's a list on the website of things we need. So baby blankets and Clorox wipes and just there's a whole list there for people to bring in. They wrap them up and they're bringing babies gifts.
Bringing the babies baby gifts.
It is. It's cute.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
And just before we go, if people are interested, they think, hey, you know what? I like wildlife. This is something I'm interested in. It's a volunteer program. How can you get certified to become a baby bunny rehabilitator?
Sure. Oh, and we certainly need the help. There really are not many of us, and again, we're all volunteers. There's a training that's held every October, and it's at URI, and Rhode Island EM sponsors it, and we assist with the training. And that will actually help you get licensed to handle any species you choose to, for the most part. That's the start of it. And then we also hold, and they're done at this point, training just to raise babies. And the season is in, so we've just completed that series. But that stuff is on the website as well.
Perfect. Kristin, thank you so much for having
pleasure.
us. I appreciate it. Continue the good work. Continue
Thank
rescuing
you.
those animals.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate all your hard work. If you're interested, you can check out their website. I have the Facebook page. I'm pulling up Wildlife Rehabilitators Association of Rhode Island. And if you do encounter an injured animal or orphaned animal, give them a call. Their number, the hotline is 401-294-6363. So thank you.